Hello children, welcome to the 9th chemistry online classes. Is matter around us pure? In this chapter we are studying about mixtures. And in the last class we studied about solution. So solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. And we know some examples that come across various types of solution in our daily life. Examples: lemonade, soda water, alloys, etc. And a solution has two main components, that are solute and solvent. Solute means what? A substance which gets dissolved in a solvent. And solvent means a substance in which a solute gets dissolved. And we studied some properties of a solution also. And today we are going to study about concentration of a solution. Concentration of a solution. For knowing more about this topic, we just see one experiment here. Here you can see two beakers and both having same amount of water. So water is the solvent. And we put some salt in these two beakers, and the salt is the solute here. So water is the solvent and salt is the solute. So here we are taking salt, that is common salt. We just imagine, suppose we are taking common salt. So in the first beaker we are putting a little bit of salt, but in the second beaker we put a lot of salt. And when we taste the solution, because salt is dissolved in this water, so we get the solution, homogeneous mixture, that is the solution. So when we taste this solution, we get less salt taste because we are adding a little bit of salt. But when we taste this solution, that is the second beaker, solution in the second beaker, we get more salt. Why? Because we are adding lot of solute or lot of common salt in this water. Now you just imagine, instead of this common salt we put copper sulfate. That is also another kind of salt, copper sulfate. So when we put copper sulfate, a little bit of copper sulfate in this first beaker, that color is very less, the blue color is very less. But in the second beaker we are adding a lot of copper sulfate, so we'll get a deep blue color, or the intensity of color is more in the second beaker compared to the first beaker. So the property of the solution. So the property of the solution depends upon the amount of solute dissolved in it. Yes, here the property is different from here. Why? Because the salt, amount of salt is less here, but here more. So that is why its property is different. But the solvent is same and the solute also same here. So only the difference is the amount of solute. But you just consider, we are here put the solvent is same, but salt is different. So that time also property is different, because some salt it take a lot of time to dissolve, but another salt it just when we are putting that in water, it dissolve very fast. So these are depends upon the solute or solvent. The properties depends upon solute and solvent, or the amount of solute dissolved in the solvent. So we just read that point. The properties of a solution depends upon the nature of solute and solvent and also on the proportion of the dissolved solute. Proportion of the dissolved solute means the amount of dissolved solute. Here amount is less, but here amount is more, so the properties also have a difference. Now we see what is this concentrated solution and what is dilute solution. Now we see. A solution which has high quantity of solute is said to be concentrated solution. A solution which has high quantity of solute is said to be concentrated solution. So in these two beakers, this is the concentrated solution, because in the solvent, that is water, we put a more amount of or a lot of solute. Okay, so that is why it is called concentrated solution. So what is concentrated solution? A solution which has high quantity of solute, that is called concentrated solution. And what is dilute solution? A solution which has comparatively lesser quantity of solute is said to be dilute solution. So here, compared to this one, we put a less amount of salt. So this is called dilute solution. So all of you clear what is concentrated solution and dilute solution? And this also, the property of a solution depends upon nature of the solvent and solute and the amount of dissolved solute. Which are the types of solutions based on the concentration of the solution? Two types we already discussed, that are concentrated solution and dilute solution. Concentrated solution means solute is, we add solute, more solute to the solution, that is concentrated solution, and dilute means less solute, that is called dilute solution. So next type is saturated solution. Saturated solution. So before going to the definition of saturated solution, first we see how to prepare a saturated solution. How to prepare a saturated solution. A saturated solution is prepared by continuously adding solute to the solution until a stage is reached where the solute appears as a solid precipitate or as crystals to form a highly saturated solution. So I'll just explain. To prepare saturated solution, you can also prepare a saturated solution at home. For that, you just take one glass and take some less amount of water. Okay, then add salt or sugar to it. First you add 1 spoon of salt into that water and stir very well. So you can see that salt dissolved in that water. Add 1 more spoon. The same way you continue the thing until a stage is reached where the salt appears as a solid precipitate. That stage, after that stage, you cannot dissolve salt. So that stage, that solution is called saturated solution. So in this picture also you can see that this, after the stage, that stage we put again salt, that salt not dissolved, that salt settled down here. Okay, so that stage is called, or that solution is called saturated solution. Now we just see the definition. Saturated solution: when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature. Okay, at a given temperature. So in the given temperature only that solute is not dissolved in the solution. So you just think we have one glass and water, or we have a saturated solution in a glass, saturated solution. So we can see the salt precipitate in the water, and when we increase the temperature, or when we keep the glass on the fire, it takes heat, and what will happen? the solute or the salt dissolve in water. Okay, so from that, when we increase the temperature, the solute or that salt dissolved in water. So that is why in the definition this given at a given temperature. Okay, when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature. Got it, children? Now we know what is saturated solution. So in a saturated solution, the amount of solute present in that saturated solution at that given temperature is called solubility. So now we studied a new term, that is solubility. So solubility means the amount of solute present in the saturated solution. So in a solution, some solute is dissolved, okay, in the saturated solution. So that dissolved solute, the amount of dissolved solute in the saturated solution at the given temperature is called solubility. It's very important, that term, solubility. What is solubility? The amount of solute present in the saturated solution at the given temperature is called solubility. Now one question, what would happen if you were to take a saturated solution at a certain temperature and cool it slowly? So in a certain temperature or in a given temperature, we can see the saturated solution. So some salt or some solute settle down. That stage is called saturated solution. So when we increase the temperature, what will happen? When we increase the temperature, that solute dissolved in the solution. You studied that when we increase the temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles also increases. So that thing happened here when we increase the temperature. But here the question is, what will happen when we cool the saturated solution? Okay, so when we cool the saturated solution, the solubility decreases. So that solute particles cannot dissolve because temperature here decreases. So decrease the solubility, and decrease in solubility will result in some of the dissolved solute to precipitate out as a solid crystal. Okay, so when we cool that saturated solution, that solute dissolved in the solution may come as a solid substance or solid crystal. This thing you can also do in your home. Okay, first you take a less amount of water, very less amount of water, and add some amount of salt, and you reach that stage. That stage you cannot add more salt, because how you can understand, when you are adding more salt, it not dissolved. That stage is called, that solution, saturated solution. Okay, and you take a little amount of saturated solution from the glass and you just keep in the fridge, cool it. Okay, and after some time you can see the you can see the crystals of salt. That actually, that is what, that is salt is dissolved in that solution. That is appear as a solid crystal when you cool it. Okay, we can find concentration of a solution by using this equation. You see, concentration of a solution, amount of solute by amount of solution, or amount of solute by amount of solvent. Okay, so I'm reading once again. You have to by heart this equation, how to find the concentration of a solution. Amount of solute by amount of solution, or amount of solute by amount of solvent. And the concentration of solution can be represented in many ways. And here for you have to study only two ways. They are mass by the mass percentage of a solution and mass by volume percentage of a solution. Okay, here both we are taking calculating mass In the first case by the mass percentage, and here second by volume percentage. So how we will calculate mass by the mass percentage of a solution? It is by mass of solute by mass of solution into 100. Mass of solute by mass of solution into 100. And mass by volume percentage of a solution calculated by mass of solute by volume of solution into 100. Mass of solute by volume of solution into 100. So by doing some numericals we need the equation. So you can apply these equations for that numericals. So now we just see some numericals also. First numerical, 5 gram of sugar is dissolved in 250 ml of solution. Calculate its mass percentage by volume. Mass percentage by volume. So here 5 gram of sugar, that means mass of solute. So mass of solute, that is sugar, that is 5 gram. And volume of solution, that is 250 ml, that is volume. And this is we calculate the mass by volume. Okay, so that equation, you have to write that equation. Equation is mass of solute by volume of solution into 100. Mass of solute is 5 gram, volume of solution 250 ml into 100. So we will get 2%. Okay, and second numerical, a solution of urea in water contains 16 gram of it in 120 gram of solution. Find out the mass percentage of the solution. Here we have to find mass percentage. Okay, so here mass of urea, so urea is the solute in this case, so that is 16 gram, and solution, mass of solution is 120 gram. Mass percent of urea, that you have to find. Mass percentage of urea is mass percentage of the solution. Mass percentage of that solution is mass of urea by mass of solution into 100. So here mass of urea is 16, mass of solution is 120, so 16 by 120 into 100 for finding the percentage into 100. So we get the answer 13.33%. Okay, so these are the things we studied, and okay, I will give some questions also, so you have to write in your notebook. Okay children, so thank you.